Hello everybody, this is Funny Bunny of Doom, and I'm going to be doing a quick two-part tutorial on how to build a ship to get into space, into a stable orbit, and back onto Earth alive. Okay, now this is going to be a very basic tutorial. We're going to start out, there's two good pods for this. The MK cockpit is also not bad in career mode, but we're in sandbox, so I'm going to use this one. The Command Pod MK1 is just a nice little small can. So it's got a crew capacity of 1. And like I told you, we are going to get them back alive. So we're going to use this MK parachute here, the small one. All right, and then the next thing we are going to need is still in utilities, and that is going to be a battery. You can opt for either the side batteries or an inline battery. We want one that fits. This holds 400. This holds 1,000. This is smaller, and this holds 200. We'll go with this. The weight is 0.05, so we want to keep the weight pretty low. The electricity is going to allow us to use the SAS modules and these reaction wheels. And these SAS modules are going to help us. These inline stabilizer, these create torque and will allow us to stay more stable. Allow us to, stay more stable. We'll want fuel tanks. We'll want one of these RCS fuel tanks. And the RCS fuel is for these RCS thrusters. They are in the command and control section, and there are a few different ones to choose from. I have a couple mods added that add more, but I'm going to go with these. We'll go into symmetry mode, make it 4. So we'll make 4 of these guys and line them up right there. Now these are going to produce thrust as long as we have fuel to stabilize the craft. So this in conjunction with that should do a good job. Now let's click here at the battery and pull it down because I forgot something. We're going to go to structural and we are going to throw in one of these decouplers, but it has to be a small decoupler, something like that. Okay. Not one of the enormous ones. Okay, so this is our decoupler. This is going to separate the bottom half of the rest of the ship. So all we will have left is this at the end. So we have, that'll separate, we'll have our battery, our inline stabilizer, our RCS thrusters. The stabilizer will help us point the way we want. The thrusters will help us to get there. It'll push the ship back and forth. Okay, now that we have all of that, we're going to want the last stage fuel. So this is what's going to be actually in space. This is what's going to be orbiting, and this is what's going to get back, and then drop this off at the end. So we got this FLT 400 fuel tank. This holds just a bit of fuel, but we don't need a lot of fuel when we're in space because it takes little fuel to accelerate with little to no gravity. So we'll choose this LV 909 liquid fuel engine. This is a good engine for orbit because it's a low power engine. It'll do good and waste little fuel. We'll want another one of those decouplers. Oops, wrong one. We will throw another decoupler in here. So this is going to be a stage on its own, and then this is going to be our main lift stage. So we're going to get the 2 of these long FLT 800 fuel tanks, which are double this one up here. We are going to throw this. There's 2 good engines. This one has a thrust of 215. This one has a thrust of 200. This one has better. This one has better control. It has a vector range of 1 degree. This has no vector range, so this is better power but no control. We're going to throw the control one in the center. Okay, so this is going to be our main rocket here, but this isn't going to get it into the air. We're going to want to go to structure, and I would do either 3 or 4, but for simplicity's sake, we're going to do 4 of these. Stay with the symmetry mode. We are going to want some sort of radial decoupler. It's up to you which kind you want to use. These can be dangerous because they are close to the rocket and they can cause your fuel tanks to hit your rocket and explode. But I'm going to go with them for the reason that they make it more compact, and the closer everything is to the center of your rocket, the easier it is to lift. Now remember I said there was a Max Thrust 215 engine. That's going to be the engine that we are going to be using. Okay, we are going to have 2 tanks up here and 2 tanks in the center for our main lifting module. We are going to need some strut connectors, so we'll attach these struts to hold it together. If you try on your own to build large rockets, you'll notice they kind of wobble and explode and stuff, and that is totally not what we're looking for. So let's just add some of these struts. In aerodynamics, we can throw a cap on here. In normal vanilla Kerbal Space Program, it does nothing because there is no drag yet. There's not much drag yet anyway. Okay, so now we have the build of our rocket. You can go ahead and throw on some wings if you want. That'll help with some control. Alright, so we have a parachute, we have electricity, we have our stabilizers, we have our main rockets. Now we are going to set up our stages. We are not going to keep the stages as is. We'll put our mouse over to see what fires when we hit each stage. Stage 6 is going to be these 4 and this. So I'm going to drag this sucker down here. So stage 5 is going to be all of these. Stage 4 is as is. We'll drop off both rockets. We don't want that. We want to split it up. So let's break this apart by clicking on it, and let's see what's what. So we got this, that, and that. Okay, so we are going to want to control 2 at a time. We'll click on the 2 we don't want to select and select the other 2. So the right and left will go first, and then the front and back will go second. Now we're going to want to handle the fuel. We're going to want this fuel duct from fuel tanks. These 2 are going to be the first to drop, so we want, let's switch into single mode. We're going to want to go from this fuel tank to this fuel tank, and then from this fuel tank to the center fuel tank. That way, when we separate this fuel tank to this fuel tank, and then this fuel tank to this one. That way, when we drop these 2 off, this one will have fuel in it still because it will be piping fuel from this one into this one. And then this one will be piping fuel from this one into the center one, so then we can continue to burn this main engine, drop this off, and then fire the last engine once we make it into space. Okay, I know it's a lot, but go ahead, watch it a few times, see how I built this ship. This is what we will be bringing into space. I'm going to go ahead and give it a name. I'm going to call it Cocksucker 1. Actually, Cocksucker A1 in case I have many iterations of this. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and save that, Cocksucker A1. And that's a wrap. Now, the next part of the tutorial, we will get into space, we will get into orbit, and then we will get back to Earth. Take it easy.